A harvest not reaped, but wrecked. The flowers that worship the sun need the blessing of rain too. But it's nowhere. Sunflowers that many here planted to make up for those lost in Ukraine, wiped out by Spain's worst drought on record. Farmers unsure if they can go on.
If it doesn't rain by the end of the year, it makes no sense to plant more. That would just be like throwing money at the land for no harvest. And there's no rain forecast for now.
Spain's rich farmland is being impoverished, supplying half of all olive oil the world's biggest producer has trees almost bare. Parched soil giving little fruit, the yield down by at least a third. The country's green gold, as it's called, is now even more prized. In this factory that exports to the UK, production is dropping by half, pushing up prices amidst a global food crisis. As the flow becomes a trickle, they worry here that this vital sector is in danger.
Shoppers are already paying a third higher than last year, but the drought will increase that even more. With the downturn, we may have to lay off some workers. Another year like this would be a complete catastrophe.
Now Spain is turning to its shores to help, expanding plants that desalinize seawater to ease the shortage. This one, which purifies enough for a small city, will increase its supply by a third in the next 4 years.
The main problem here is clearly the drought, but there's another issue too. Half of the water coming out of this plant goes towards irrigating the fruit and vegetables growing in these kinds of greenhouses, Spain producing the most in the EU. But perhaps with our climate heating, this country can just no longer afford to be the Garden of Europe.
It's a picture repeated nationally, as some scientists say water management needs a radical rethink.
We have increasing water demands, mainly because the expansion of irrigated lands during the last decades in Spain, and actually irrigated lands consume around 85% of total available water resources in Spain. So we need a water transition in Spain to adapt to climate change.
With parts of Spain the driest in 1200 years, this dystopian vision of a once bountiful land is a glimpse into our future. Mark Lowen, BBC News, Andalusia.